It's important to build a personal brand because it's the only thing you're going to have. Your reputation online and in the new business world is pretty much the game. So you've got to be a good person. You can't hide anything. And more importantly, you've got to be out there at some level. That's a personal branding quote by Gary Vee. And if you have not heard of Gary Vee, look him up, just Google him. He's all over the internet. He gives practical um, insight and wisdom around entrepreneurship. Today, I'll discuss the three simple reasons you need on why you need to build a personal brand and how to build a personal brand around yourself so that you can create and attract opportunities where you can maximize your profits. For those of you that are tuning in, because this is my first live of the year, my name is Lynn George of Lynn George Consulting. Can't talk today. Career strategist to lady bosses changing careers after 40. I help women changing careers after 40 elevate their careers by maximizing their potential, their purpose, and their profits. Because we have to make some coins, okay? And more than coins, but we have to make those dollars. So let's dive into what is personal brand. But before we dig into that, let's talk about what it is not. Personal branding is not putting a post out there and seeing, and how many people like your post. It's not about how many people following you. Mm-mm. It's not even about going viral. The quote that I just read you by Gary Vee, simply put, the most simplistic way that I can express to you or communicate to you about what a personal brand is, it's simply your reputation, online and offline. Okay. So personal branding though is not just what people see, but how do you make people feel? But let's talk about the word personal in front of branding. That solidifies that personal branding is really about you. You are at the core of what your brand is. So what you do in your business or in your career, it defines, right? It communicates to people what your brand is all about, your reputation is all about. You ever thought about, is there someone in your life or someone that is you might label them, not label them, that's an ugly word, but you might be like, girl or child, here comes liar. You have just branded that person, or that person branded themselves as being this liar because they lie all the time. So personal branding is really about what you do consistently. It's about what you do consistently in your business and in your career. All right. So let's talk about what is a personal brand. Again, it's not just what people see, but how do you make them feel even when you're not in the room? When I think about that statement, I think about Oprah Winfrey, what her brand stands for, because I love Auntie O. I love Auntie O. Her personal brand is really, for me, I can describe it in these words. She's all about empowering people to be the best version of themselves. So everything that she does is geared towards that, right? And so we know it's branding. It's about how you make people feel, because we know that this, Auntie O, Oprah Winfrey brand is about helping you become the better version of you. Whenever she, is setting some program and she's coming to your town, you want to be there. Why? Because you want to feel that empowerment. You want to feel that feel good that she gives, right? Because we know that her words and how, in her insights, her wisdom around growth in the development of people mindset, it makes us feel a certain way. So personal brand is not just what people see, but how you make people feel when you're not even in the room. It's your reputation online and offline. And it's important that I talk about this because so many people are emerging into entrepreneurs. And then so many people are really rethinking, reimagining what their careers are. So, and then in order to do that, in order to grow both in potential and in profits, you must understand what your personal branding is. So, an important aspect of personal branding is this: it's values. And the reason that's an important aspect because values drives our behaviors and our actions. What you believe in are values. What you believe about, different perspectives you have, your beliefs, and drives your behaviors and your actions. Okay, so why do I need a personal brand? So now I'm getting into the crux of why you need. So remember, ELA, why you need a personal brand. ELA, remember this. Okay, so here you go. Number one, your personal brand helps you to earn more. It helps you to earn more. So think about it this way. If you are a career professional, meaning you're working 9 to 5, nothing wrong with that. You're in the corporate world. Think about, what do you know? First of all, if you're a career professional and you want to know, what a personal branding is and how do I build one, it's because you want to grow. How do I grow? So personal branding answers that question. How do I grow? Who do you know? Okay. Personal branding helps you to define who you are as a professional. So who knows you in your organization? Because who knows you in your organization knows the value that you bring. And when they know the value that you bring, then it's easy for you to have a conversation around pay, for example. Right? It's easy for you to now keep track of, okay, what value do I bring to an organization? So you can keep track of the things that you've done, the achievements that you've made within a year. So when it's time for you to have the conversation around when it's performance evaluations, you can say, this is what I've done in the last year, meaning this is the value that I bring to the organization. So so for career professionals who desire to build their personal brand, the reason you want to do that is because you want to earn more. And so how do you do that? Well, drill down on, what do you know? What do you know? What can you teach? What can you be the authority on? When I actually learned about personal branding on accident, I did. What happened was I got bored with being in my field doing the same thing over and over and over again. And so I began to think about, I want to grow in my field. How do I do that? I want to think beyond helping someone write a resume. I want to think beyond, or help people beyond how to write cover letters, prep for an interview, and all that good stuff. How do I go beyond that? And so I start digging for information around my field. Not only that, so I educated myself, but then I also put myself out there to volunteer on boards, volunteer with professional associations. And that's when I began to see growth. And that's when I began to be able to maximize my earnings. So drill down on, what do you know? And what do you want to know? So earning more, that's one reason, number one. The L for in the ELA is lead more. Okay. If you want to make a greater impact, one of the reasons you want to design a brand around yourself is to lead more, to make a greater impact. If you are doing the same thing, or if you're in the corporate field and you are doing the same thing over and over again, and you would like to make a greater impact, then you need to do what I mentioned in the earning more. Drill down on what do you know. First of all, picture where you want to be. So you need to vision. You need to do some visioning. Who do you want to be? Answer that question first. Who do you want to be? For me, I wanted to be an authority in the career development space. So what does that look like? I started volunteering. I started sitting on boards. I started networking with people. So what does that look like for you? Who do you want to be? Okay. And then go out and be it on purpose. So the L in leading more, you have to first drill down on who do you want to be, and then go out and do just that. Because you can't make a greater impact on people or on the work that you are doing if you don't have an idea of who you're trying to be or who do you want to be. All right. The A, the other reason that you want to create a brand around yourself is this: attracting more. You want to attract more. When we create a brand around ourselves, we attract more opportunities to us. It's that verse that says, your gifts will make room for you. Well, the gifts make room for you when we are intentional about the brand that we are creating around ourselves. When I first learned about the term or the concept of personal branding, I understand what it meant to create a brand by design and not by default. A lot of times, the go-getters you see in the world are those that live life by design and not by default. Meaning they are going out there and they are setting intentions around who they want to be and then doing that on purpose. Okay, so the third reason, the A in ELA, for the reasons to create a personal brand is that you attract more. You attract opportunities to you. Your gifts will begin to make room for you when you become be intentional about the brand that you are creating. And a strong brand builds credibility. It builds credibility. When you begin to build a brand around who you are or around who you want to be known for, you're building credibility. Another thing it does, it builds authority. Again, remember I said that I wanted to be an authority in the career development space. And so there are steps that was taken. And it really just came out of a desire. And out of just boredom with the same thing over and over and over again. And so I learned early on that in my organization, in order for me to build my internal brand with my organization, I had to get out there. I started noticing more results when I started getting out there, sitting on boards, volunteering around the space that I wanted to play in. And then what I found was I became more confident speaking up in meetings, requesting meetings with senior level or executives in my company. And they start looking at me a whole lot more differently. And you know what else would happen? What else happened? I started getting invited to the table. Now, I put myself at the table, but I started getting invited to more tables to sit at. That's what I mean by that. Okay. So And then the other thing your personal branding builds is trust. It builds trust. So again, think about, who do you want to be when you are creating this personal brand around, or a brand around yourself? Because again, let me remind you that the personal brand is about you. Think about, who do you want to be? And then if this thing moves out my way, and then be it on purpose. Be it on purpose. Now, the one thing I didn't say about a brand, because I haven't gotten there yet, is how do you design a brand around yourself? Again, visioning. Who do you want to be is number one. Determine who you want to be, who you are, what are you doing? Think about those questions. Then work backwards from there. All right. The second is, be it on purpose. Be it on purpose. Who do you want to be? Be it on purpose. And then the third one is show up. A brand doesn't exist if it's not visible. Your brand has to be visible. And so for my ladies out there that's a little bit introverted, not a little bit, but maybe a lot, you have to determine how will you show up for your brand to be visible. You know, I was bold. I just kind of jumped out there and got on camera. And I'm not saying for you to do that, right? Because I had to kind of pedal back and be like, wait, hold up. I need to work on some things in order for me to show up confidently on camera. So for you, determine how you're going to make your brand visible. If it's not visible, emerging entrepreneurs, you don't have a business. You don't have a business. You're not going to bring in the coins. I can tell you that right now. Somebody needs to know who you are. So determine what works for you, the strategy that works for you, introvert entrepreneurs. That's who I'm talking to, and my other folks. So in my closing, your personal brand is simply your reputation. It is simply your reputation. Whether you're an entrepreneur or career professional, it's how people see you online and offline. It's not just what people see, though, but how do you make people feel? How do you make people feel? And the reason you need to build a personal brand, because that's how you're going to, 3 reasons: earning more. You earn more, you attract more, and you get to lead more. You earn more, you lead more, and you attract more. I said it backwards. And the last thing is this: to design a personal brand around yourself you need to do 2 things. Decide who do you want to be, and then be it on purpose. Thank you so much for those of you that have tuned in. I am so appreciative that you have joined in. Join me again on next Thursday at 7 p.m. And if you want to learn more and work with me on helping you design your personal brand, please do not hesitate to go to my website, which is newly revamped. So take a look. Go out to my website and learn more about working with me to help you design your personal brand. Until next time, folks. Bye for now.